back to another video. I'm so excited because this week I'm going to be trying to get through some of my May TBR, and I thought I would film it and turn it into a little reading vlog. So I'm so excited to get started. I was trying to figure out which books to read, and I have 3 picked out. And I'm going to try to get through. We will see if I actually get through them all. It may just be a couple, I really don't know. But I thought we would just have a good time and I would film it and we will see how far we get into it. So the books that I have picked out, you probably saw them if you watched my May TBR jar video. They were all books that I talked about on that video. But the first one is Theo of Golden by Alan Levi. And the reason that I really chose this book is because we have book club next week and I have not started it. And it's like 400 something pages, 390 pages or so. So I really need to get through this book. So that is why we are reading this. And I think this one is about this guy named Theo, and he arrives in a small town and visits a coffee shop. And I think he finds some framed portraits or something that are for some reason really important, and he sets about trying to find the rightful owners of these portraits, and I think there's a mystery involved. I think this is very much like beautiful writing, poetic. I don't really know anything else about it. Like I said, someone at my church recommended it to me, or recommended it to our book club, so I don't know anything about it, but this one we will definitely be trying to get through in this video. And then if I get to it, it's actually on my Kindle and I will put it up here on the screen because I don't have the physical copy. But this book is called A Dawn of Onyx, and I don't actually know the author. I will again put it up here on the screen, but I think it was Natalie Lawyer talk about this book. Yes, because she got recommended it by Ashlyn Callie on YouTube, and she loved it. Natalie absolutely loved this book. She just like really convinced me to read it. So I had it on my Kindle. I think I have like 8 days left to read it. So we may be getting to that one. We're gonna try to get through all of it. I really don't know if we will. It seems absolutely amazing. It is a romantasy. I don't remember if there's fae involved, or I'm really gonna be going in blind. I don't really remember a lot about it. I just know it's a romantasy and that Ashlyn and Natalie both love it, and they're some of my favorite YouTubers. So if they love it, I think I'm gonna love it. I just trust their recommendation. So I am so excited. Let's get cozy and jump right into it. Guys, and I can already tell you this book is so poetic. The writing is so beautiful. I don't really know what to compare it to. I would almost say like this is a guy who writes this, but I would almost say like Rebecca Ross, even though it's not fantasy, but the way he writes, like this ending, he said, there's a little part I'll read. Only a year, not so long, but long enough to create a current of his own and to catch others in it. Without knowing it, a whole cadre, Asher, Tony, Alan, Basil, dozens of others, was being carried along by the vortex that was Theo, floating, sailing, gathering mass and momentum, running to an ocean they knew little about at the time, and looking back, all would have said, in praise of that old Portuguese man with the lilt in his voice and the hint of a smile constantly on his lips, our hearts, to use the preacher's words, our heart burns within us. So pretty. So I don't know what this book is going to be about or anything, but the writing is beautiful. Guys, I'm literally only like 2 chapters in, but I have to say the chapters are so short, which I absolutely love, and it goes by so fast. Also, this man, the main guy Theo, is so nice. I think I'm getting the vibes that he like just retired, or he's like older. He's a sweet old man, and tell me why I love reading about sweet old men. In this one scene, he's like talking to a little bird that goes by, and I know that sounds so creepy, but I promise it was like in the sweetest way. He like was bird watching, and he was like, funnily like saying something like, sorry little bird, I don't have any food for you. He's really sweet. I like the old man that it's about so far, Theo. He might not even be old, but I'm just like getting the vibes that he is. Also, the town that he's going to live in is called Golden. So Theo of Golden, that's clicking in my head now. First impressions, I really like it so far. It's very cozy and the chapters are very short. Happy Sunday. It is now a few days later and I wanted to give a few quick updates on where I am with my reading. Friday, I didn't really get a ton done. We had a little bit of a busier day, and then Saturday it was super rainy, so yesterday was perfect. I got really cozy yesterday afternoon and lit my candles and had another good little reading session, and I got to page I think 130 of Theo of Golden, so I'm a good chunk of a way through here. Yeah, I'm like this much through, so still have obviously a while to go, but pretty good for a few days in. My goal is to read I think 60 pages every day until Wednesday, and then I should finish. That's my goal. So I still need to get a good chunk of Theo of Golden done this afternoon, but I'm still happy with where I am. And then I'll give a quick update on this, but I'll also say I have been going back and forth between Theo of Golden and then A Dawn of Onyx on my Kindle, just because I feel like, I don't know why, I've been in a mood where I'm not really in that much of a mood to pick up a more like literary fiction type read, and that's what this feels like. And so I really wanted something that was more like exciting that I could just like dive into. I've been craving like a fantasy book, so that's why I'm like switching back and forth, and it's kind of working for me. So I am on a time crunch with this one, but I still couldn't help myself and like really wanted to read a fantasy yesterday while it was raining. That's where we are, but I'll give an update on each. Theo of Golden is going well. I really do like this book. I think it's more of like, it may not be the best time for me right now. I'm not really in that mood, which sometimes I am in more of a literary fiction mood. But since this is for book club, that's why I'm picking this one up more. This weekend is more of just like a necessity thing. But that being said, I really do like it. So we are following Theo. He has like a little bit of a mysterious past. He is moving to the small town of Golden, and I think it's in the south. I think it's Georgia, and we don't really know why he's moving here. He tells people that it's to deal with a few properties that he has, to do some business with it, but we don't really know anything else. It's definitely alluded to that he has interesting past, and we don't really know why or what's going on, why he's there. But we're getting little like hints dropped, little Easter eggs, and it's part of like a little bit of a mystery plot, is like, who is Theo, what is his background, and what is he doing in Golden. So that's definitely part of it. The other plot of this book is the painting. So there are these portraits in this coffee shop in Golden that he walks into the coffee shop his first day. He sees the portraits and he's like, those are so beautiful. For some reason, it's these portraits of townspeople, and he's like, for some reason I just feel like they need to be with their rightful owners instead of hanging in the coffee shop. So he has a lot of money. We don't really know why. Apparently we learned that he was a successful businessman, and he is going about and giving these portraits to their rightful owners. So I won't really say anything else. I don't want to give any spoilers, but that's kind of the premise. That's where the book is set, and that's kind of the point of the story. Now I think we're going to be going along figuring out his past. We've already learned a few interesting things about his past, which I won't say because I don't want to spoil, but he definitely has an interesting past. He has more to a story than we're being told, and it's getting interesting to see what's gonna happen. There's a lot here. On the surface, it can just seem like, oh, it's an interesting plot line, kind of boring, but like the writing is beautiful, it's emotional, it's lyrical, and I just love hearing it from his perspective, and Theo is such a sweet character to follow. And this book talks a lot more about life than you would actually let on to begin with. It can just seem more shallow at the surface, but like a lot of other books that I really liked, this one is gonna have a deeper meaning, I think. So I'm really liking where we are in this one so far. And then an update on A Dawn of Onyx. This one is really good. Let me check. I think I'm like 16% of the way through. Okay, I am 20% of the way through with The Dawn of Onyx. So this one's going good. I'm still getting into the story of this one a little bit. I don't really know where this one is gonna take us, but it's following our main female protagonist, and she is a healer in this small town. And in this town, I want to say there's a kingdom where they sell, is it onyx? I could be totally wrong, but they sell some sort of material that is very coveted, and right now she has been taken by these like bandits or thieves of some kind and taken to this jail in the kingdom's like castle, and so she's being held captive there. She's trying to get out, and the story is very much still unfolding. I don't really know what's going to happen in this one yet, but I'm really enjoying what we've seen so far. The writing is fast-paced, it's easy to follow. There is going to be a romance. I think we might have already met the guy who is the main male character. I don't know yet though, because I'm going very much blind into this book. All I know is that Natalie Lawyer and Ashley and Callie both love this book. So that's what we're sticking with. These are my updates. I'm going to try to get some reading done this afternoon. We just got back from church and lunch with some friends, and we have to go help some other friends move this afternoon. So I don't know how much I'll be getting to now. It's 12:30 right now. We have to go do that at 2, so I'm gonna get a little bit of reading in now, and then I'm definitely gonna try to plunge into this late afternoon / evening and get some good reading done on these 2 books. Hi friends, it is now Wednesday. It's book club day, and I am almost done with Theo of Golden. It is very last minute for me to be finishing this book, but I thought it'd be fun to film my last little reactions of the book, and then I'll do an overall update. This is so sad, guys. I did not see this coming. What? I'm sorry, what? Why did I not think of that? What? Dude! Guys, I can't. Okay, there's still a little bit left. I'm on 363 of 394, so I have a little bit to go still. Hi friends, it is now the next day, and as you probably can tell from the last clip, I finished Theo of Golden. Let's discuss this book. How do I even describe it? How do I even put it into words? How I felt about this book. So this book we actually discussed at my book club last night. I think I mentioned that, but we had such good discussion about it. It is so deep, but also so simple and sweet. It's a very soft, quiet book, so I was a little bit nervous going into it because I don't read a lot of literary fiction. I don't read a lot of historical fiction, and this gave a lot more of that vibe. It made me like, maybe I should just dip my toes a little bit more often into that genre. But this book was so sweet. So it's hard to describe the details of what this book is about without giving a lot of it away, but I will say it follows Theo. He's an old, like 87-year-old man. He moves to the small town of Golden. I believe it's in Georgia. It's set in the South, we know that. We don't know a lot about his history. We can tell that there's a lot that's not being said about him in his past. So that is like a strong thread throughout the book, is who is Theo? Why is he here? So there's a lot of mystery elements, but then there's also, most of the book is just quiet thought-provoking, emotional, sad, happy. It's just so much in one book. I can't believe people aren't talking about it. So you follow Theo, you follow the cast of characters that he meets in the town. He gets there, he starts building relationships, and of course the main point, plot point of the book, I guess, is he goes into this town, he walks into the main coffee shop there, and is fascinated by these art portraits on the wall. There's like 90 portraits or something of different people, and he's so fascinated by them. He asks the coffee shop owner, hey, what are these portraits about? Who are these people? And he was like, well, they're various people around the town. And so Theo decides he wants to set about going and finding each person that the portrait was painted of and returning. He's buying these portraits and he's going to return it to them. This is a very deep book with a lot of sad moments in it. I would check trigger warnings, but it's handled so well that I feel like it made me have hope even in the sadness. And that's a lot of what this book I think is ultimately about, is how we can slow down and find hope even in the darkest moments of life, and even after he has lived years of a lot of hard things. You still have hope and you can still enjoy the people and relationships around you and listen to those people, be kind to the people around you, and make the most of that. So I think that is what I would say is the main point of this book, but there's so much I could say. I could go on and on. Also, if you love a cozy small town, it's a mix of Mayberry from the Andy Griffith Show, and also this is a little niche, even more niche than Andy Griffith, but Mitford from the Jen Karen series, the Mitford books. It's a mix of those. If you've read either the Mitford series or you've seen Andy Griffith, it's a mix of those two vibes. I love this book so much. I would definitely recommend it even if you don't love literary fiction, historical fiction. I would still definitely recommend it because I really am not into those genres and I loved this. If you're okay with a little bit of a slower moving story, then I would recommend it, but I will also say the ending absolutely hooked me. The ending is what made me give this book 5 stars because I was sitting at a 4.5, 4.75, and then the ending came and I thought there's no way this book is less than 5 stars. Like, this is amazing. I did not see it coming. There was reveal after reveal. So all that to say, I highly recommend this book. I think you can get it on Amazon. It was a little bit hard to find, but Amazon, and it's also on Kindle Unlimited, I just found out. I didn't read it on my Kindle because I didn't know, but I actually recommended this book to my mom and she was like, oh, it's on Kindle Unlimited. So definitely pick it up on KU if you want to try it out. But I love this book. That is it for our first book of this video. I'm not continuing A Dawn of Onyx. Sadly, I was really enjoying that book, but I had it on Libby and I only had like 3 days left and I was finishing Theo of Golden, and so it got returned, sadly, and I have a hold on it and it's gonna be like 12 more weeks or something crazy. But I went to the library and got a little library haul yesterday. I got Fearless by Lauren Roberts. If y'all have read the Powerless series, you've been living under a rock if you haven't heard about it, but I am so excited to read this book. I've had mixed feelings about the Powerless trilogy. I loved the first book. I think everyone did, honestly. And then me, like most other people, I would say I was in the majority with this, but I did not love Reckless. It did feel like a in-between book, felt like a world-building book, but I'm one of those people that I don't think that second books have to be a middle book. I think they can still have a lot of purpose. And I did enjoy the book overall. I think I gave it like a 3 stars, but it wasn't anything crazy. It just felt like Kai and Peyton were going through the same circular process over and over through the whole book, and there wasn't a lot else that's happening. But I will say the ending, like when I got to the end of Reckless, I was like, okay, I know I'm gonna read the 3rd book because I want to finish the series, but that's kind of the only reason. But then I got to the end and that plot twist had me shook, and I was like, I immediately am going to pick up Fearless. So I got the hold from my library. I will be starting this book. This is going to be hard since it's the 3rd book in the series. I can't really talk that much about it, but I'm still going to try to talk about it in a way that if you haven't read the series, you're not going to get any spoilers, but you still hopefully could be interested and maybe would want to pick the series up if you haven't yet. So, all that to say, I need to do a refresh, honestly, on the plot of this book because it has been a while since I finished Reckless, and it's been even longer than that since I finished Powerless, because the minute that Sarah Caroli posted her video back in 2022 or 2021, whenever the first book came out. She's the one who I found out about the series from, and she raved about it. I picked it up, and then I haven't read the series in a couple years. So this book is about a girl. The main character is named Peyton, and she is set in a fantasy world it's a mix of like fantasy dystopian really, because it's set in a world where there are elites and there are ordinaries, and the elites have powers the ordinaries don't. That's the simplest way to put it. The elites have a lot of authority and privilege in this society where the ordinaries don't, and that just kind of is self-explanatory really. But in the first book, she has to fight in a sort of Hunger Games-ish trial in order to like win her place in society, and there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot more to the story in that, but that's the essence of it. But the big kicker with that book is she pretends that she has powers in order to get in these trials when she actually doesn't. She is an ordinary, so you're following her in that plot line. The second book, it continues. Like I said, I didn't feel like there was a lot of point to that, but one of the main points in that book is you are finding out that there are other things going on. There's a rebellion going on within the story, and she kind of joins that, and she's trying to work towards that. Meanwhile, she has this forbidden love through both books with the main male character, who is Kai. And Kai is the sort of protector. I don't even remember his actual name. I don't remember what his actual job title is, but basically he has to go around and kill any ordinaries that are rebelling against the kingdom and against the elites. So you follow them along, they fall in love, things happen. There's also a little bit of a love triangle with Kai's brother, Kit. Kit is in line to be king. He's the younger brother, so he wasn't in line to become king. Therefore, they have a lot of tension and drama ensues. So there's a little bit of a love triangle going on there. This book, I don't really know what to expect. I'm going in blind. I know this is the last book in the trilogy, so things are gonna get crazy, I think, and it is a very thick book. I think it's like 500 something pages. Let's see. I'm gonna look without looking at the last page. 593, oh my gosh. This book is almost 600 pages, so this vlog is gonna be really long. Super excited to get into this. It is Thursday. I have a really busy day tomorrow, so probably won't get a ton of reading in, maybe tomorrow night. But then Saturday, I have zero plans. My husband is working, so I will be home. I don't have anything until Saturday night. Hopefully we're gonna get a ton of reading done then, and we will see. But yeah, just wanna give a quick update on Theo of Golden, review that, and then dive into Fearless. Hi friends, it is now the next day. It has been a busy day, as expected. My husband is away playing golf with friends, so we have a couple hours to read, and I am so excited. So that said, I went to this new coffee place. If you're in the area, Santos. This was the Nutella Mocha, maybe? It's basically just a chocolate Nutella iced coffee, and it's amazing. I'll definitely be going back to Santos, but if you're in the area, definitely check it out. I'm gonna have my coffee, which was desperately needed because I'm exhausted. I have my book, which I'm about to update you guys on. So I want to give an update on Fearless. I am now this far in. Let me see what page number that is. I'm 141 pages into this book. I am enjoying it so far. It definitely, as I feel like all fantasy books, it takes me a minute to figure out what's going on. It's been a while since I've gotten into this plot again, into this world again. So it took me probably the first like 50, maybe even to 100 pages to like figure out what's going on, like the setup of this book, which is pretty typical, like I said, for a fantasy book. But now I'm 141 pages in. I feel like I can kind of see the direction of where the book is going in, and I'm starting to really enjoy it. Guys, I will just say, the writing is cheesy. The romance is cheesy. I don't know if it's like my taste changing a little bit, and maybe it is, and that's so okay, but I'm enjoying this for what it is, but I'm having to acknowledge that this is so cheesy, and I cannot take it seriously. Like, I want to take Kai and Peyton's relationship seriously and their whole dynamic seriously, but it's just so cheesy. And I know that's typical for a lot of YA fantasies, But I just feel like this is so overdramatic. And we get it. Like, I feel like that's been, the whole second book was that whole vibe. So I'm kind of like, we get it, Kai. And I'm kind of over that. And so the romance has been cringing me out a little bit. And I'm just not here for the romance right now. Right now, I'm interested in the plot, because I just can't really get on board with the romance. And like I said, that might be me. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I'm very picky about my romance. I love slow burn. I love when there's a lot of tension and it takes a long time for them to finally get together. And when they do, they've gone through a lot together. They've built a relationship together. And I feel like a lot of this is just very physical based. And this book has been clean so far. There's nothing explicit, but it's just more, it's not based off of what I feel like is a deep relationship. It's just the drama of it and the high emotions of this whole situation in this fantasy world. So that's my thoughts on it. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm only 140 pages in and there's almost 600 pages of this book. So I'm so excited. We're about to get super cozy and we're gonna get a bunch of reading done. It's like 5:30 right now, I think, and I need to go get in the shower. We're gonna get cozy. We're gonna come down and we're gonna light a candle and we're gonna sit and read Fearless. And I'm so excited. I also only have like a few little work things I need to wrap up tomorrow, and then my husband's working, so we're gonna spend hopefully the whole day reading, and I am literally so excited for that. So let's go get a shower, let's get cozy, and then try to get a bunch of Fearless read. Guys, oh my goodness. For reference, if you've read this book, I just read the Edric chapter in between 20 and 21, chapters 20 and 21, and we just found out the biggest plot twist. I'm so interested to see how they twist this and how Lauren Roberts worked this out, because this is really going to change the dynamic between Kai, Peyton, and Kit and the whole flow of the story. So I am very interested to see how she's going to spin this. A little bit of work to do this morning. I just did my little morning shift, made the bed, let Winnie out, made some coffee that is much needed because I don't know why, but I've been so tired this week. So did that. I'm about to unfortunately have to go do some work, but I'm hoping and praying that I will be done in like a max of 2 hours. It's literally 8:30 on the dot right now. So I'm gonna try to be done by 10:30. I really want today to be a me day, a reading day. I usually try not to work on the weekends, but it just happened that way this week. Because yesterday was a bit of a social day, but it's okay. I'm gonna get that done. And then my plan is to jump into Fearless after that and hopefully just crank out reading most of the day today. I have a party for my friend. She just moved into her new house. Her and her husband moved in last Sunday and they're having a housewarming party tonight. So I will be going to that, but I don't think it's till 6 maybe. So we have most of the day and I'm hoping to read and I am so excited. So let's go get a little bit of work done. I'm gonna go do that and I will probably see you guys in a couple hours. Okay guys, if you can believe it or not, it is now almost 2 p.m. I've just finished with everything that I needed to do today. Finished work and then also had to order groceries because I forgot I had to do that today. Duh. Have to do adult things. Gross. And then I had to eat because I had literally not eaten anything all day. So just ate, and I'm just not getting to reading. So I'm a little bit bummed that I'm not gonna have as much time. I was picturing myself having like a full day, but it's okay. I still don't have to get ready until about 5, so we have a few hours to just sit and rot and read. And I have my coffee, and then we're gonna continue with Fearless. Last night I ended up finishing and going to sleep at page 329. So we're doing really well. We're already a little over halfway through. My goal is to try to finish today. I think that's a little bit of a lofty goal to finish in just a couple hours with that much left of the book, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try to power through. So it is such a cozy day. It's raining outside. It's been raining all day. And I have a little Animal Crossing rainy ambiance on. So I'm so excited. I just lit my candle. Let's put some cozy music on and let's get to reading. Okay friends, I finished Fearless and I've done a little bit of thinking and I'm ready to sit down and summarize my thoughts, or at least try to. So I think I'm going to stick with 3 stars, 3 solid stars on this one. It's not gonna go up anymore. I considered a 2.5 or 2.75, which I'm so sorry, I know that sounds terrible, but I just really do want to be honest and not give a book a higher ranking just because of the hype around it. So here are my thoughts. This book, like I said before, did not need to be this long. I think it would have been 350 pages, 400 cap. I would have enjoyed it a lot more. There was the whole plot point up until close to the end of the book. Up until that last section, the whole plot point kind of was pointless because we took it. It felt like we were going back to Powerless a little bit and some of the themes, and then we went whoop and went a different direction and kind of just said, oh, that whole plot point didn't really matter. It wasn't a big deal. And I was like, well, why did we spend 250, 300 pages talking about it? So that bothered me. It definitely felt like a little bit of a slog to get through that part. Like I said, I did binge this book. I read it in like 2 sittings, maybe 3 at most, and that's fast for me for a almost 600 page book. Like, holy crap. And the text is small. This is not big text. So all that to say, the plot I think was a little bit weak in this one, similar to Reckless as far as it being a little bit slow, but it went in a different direction. If anything, it was a lot more similar to Powerless, which I did like. Powerless is my favorite out of the whole trilogy, which I think that is a pretty common theme with a lot of the reviews I've been seeing on the series. And it's hard to give a lot more thoughts than that just because this is the 3rd book. I don't want to spoil it for anyone if they haven't read this book or if they haven't read the series at all. I would still recommend this book though, and I would still recommend this series as a whole for sure. Like I said before, if you're just looking for a light, fun, more romance heavy fantasy series. There was a lot more like political intrigue in this last half, which was what actually interested me a lot. The last half of this book was pretty good. The last half of this book was probably 3.5 stars for me. It was good, I enjoyed it. But it was just that whole first part that made me like, we didn't tie things together. And then I will say too, Destiny, I actually watched her review on this book and I have very similar thoughts to her as far as I feel like the last part, the last little plot twist in this book kind of was pulled out of nowhere. It didn't feel like it was something that had been hinted at throughout the book. It kind of just felt like, oh, we just did that to create a resolution to this problem that there's no resolution to. So didn't love that. And then honestly, guys, I don't want to be this person and like I said, maybe this is just my taste changing, but the romance did not hit. I enjoyed, I was kicking my feet giggling in Powerless. Kai and Peyton, they were cute together. The second book extremely annoyed me. They were going around and around in circles. And I was like, oh, I'm sure that was a phase. That was a middle book. this one will have a new storyline, a new dynamic to the relationship, and it didn't feel that way. It felt like we were doing the same thing throughout the whole book. And so I did not connect to the romance. And I mentioned this earlier in the video, which I'm saying about everything. I just yap a lot apparently, but I like a subtle romance and for it to slowly build. I like a slow burn. That's just the simplest way to put it. I did not feel like this book gave that. It was very over dramatic. It felt very melodramatic in my opinion. But that's kind of typical for YA fantasy, so I don't know why I'm yapping about it like that's new. It's not a new thing. So maybe that's just me aging out of like YA fantasy. Maybe that's all it is. But that was my general yap on this book. 3 stars. Oh, spice levels, I meant to mention that. This was like kind of fade to black and like maybe 1 to 2 scenes, but nothing explicit. There was, honestly, I don't remember anything more than just like kissing and then like a little bit of a fade to black scene at one moment, but nothing explicit. I would still say this is closed door. The language, there was a little bit more language than I remembered in the second one and first one, but I would say probably 5 mentions of strong language, so it wasn't every other word. It was pretty spread throughout, but there is that content warning in case anybody wants to know that. I'm going to stop talking before I continue because I can just rant and not stop. It is now about 4:15. I honestly don't know how I read this book in like maybe 2.5 hours, which is crazy. Not the whole book. I read the last half because we were about 50% of the way through and I read the last half in a couple hours, which is rare for me. Like honestly, I'm proud of myself for that. So I think you guys that I'm actually gonna end the video off here. I'm actually reading on my Kindle a book that an author gifted to me. So I'm so excited to read that one, but I think I'm gonna continue that one in a different video. I just started it yesterday. I was also going to include We'll Always Have Summer in this video, but I think this vlog, y'all, is getting really long. I have been filming this for, I think, over a week. So I wanna go ahead and get this up for y'all, but I will plan to read this book as well as hopefully We'll Always Have Summer and a new vlog soon. So be on the lookout for that. I'm excited. And let me know what you guys want to see from me. I'm still experimenting with stuff. I kind of wanted to try a week in the life vlog, so that would involve more. I could show you guys. I just started going to Pilates, so maybe I could bring y'all along with me. Weekly grocery haul, library haul, hanging out with Winnie, crafting, puzzling, all the other things that I love to do. So let me know if y'all would want to see that. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one very soon.